What's up? What's happening? Hope y'all are doing well today. And welcome to my first Arsenal video on my, I don't even know what I'm going to call it, a fan channel? Yeah, let's call it a fan. Probably going to be like a fan channel. I think that's what they're called. I'm just a normal, everyday fan. I'll talk a little bit about myself, my Arsenal fandom, and maybe my intentions for this page. And then I want to get into talking a little bit about the Man City Arsenal game this weekend, maybe some of the transfer talk, and we'll see what else, if anything else comes up in the meantime. So my name is Taylor Woods. I am from Canada. I've played soccer, football, my entire life. I did as a kid. I don't play anymore. I'm 31 now, but it was my favorite sport growing up. My first memories of watching football are watching Brazil lose to France in World Cup 1998. I was such a big Brazil fan. I just loved them so much. I remember watching them thinking they were invincible, and and they lost, which was one of my first forays into. Yeah, I had the disappointments you can feel as a fan, as a football fan, and trust me, I've become very familiar with it as an Arsenal fan over the years. But as I've grown myself, as a person, I've also grown in my fandom, and I view things much differently when it comes to football, and that from a much more positive lens than I used to. And so I started becoming an Arsenal fan. So in Canada, you get the odd Premier League game, like the one big game a week might be on TV. I really started getting interested and watching a little bit, more so from the sidelines still, the 03-04 season, the Invincible season. Immediately fell in love with Thierry Henry, became my favorite player. And into like 05, 06, 07, 08, I'd probably say like 08, 09, I started watching more and more of the games. 09, 10, 11, like around then I was watching every single game, as well as a lot of games of other teams. And I just grew more and more a fan, from there. And so I've been a fan for like 20 years now, which is wild to think about. So I have not really seen the success, When I first became a fan, I was like 9 or 10 years old, right? 2003, 2004. So I wouldn't have experienced, the glory years. I experienced the later Wenger years, like I said, Thierry Henry was my first ever favorite player, probably my favorite player of all time, still to this day. What a player. Wow, what a player. And then Cesc became my favorite player after that. What a player as well. I remember being devastated when he left, and that team was so talented. Oh my goodness, with him and Nasri and Van Persie and Arshavin. Who else do they have? I think maybe at the back was lacking a little bit, and in goal. But in any case, I digress, and I've stuck with them. I've been with them through the Champions League years with Wenger, but always getting knocked out pretty early. I do remember the semi-final, I think it was maybe in 08 or 09 against Man U. Maybe 09, I think. I remember watching that. I remember the first leg of the Barca game in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, that Arshavin goal. Van Persie and Arshavin goal. I remember the Van Persie season. So I've been a fan, and I listen to a lot of the fan channels. I love them. Big up to guys like the Arsecast, Arsenal Vision podcast, AFTV. I love the Football Terrace, Terry over there. He's a Man U fan, but he talks about all clubs from a very unbiased point of view, and that's part of what I strive to do in this channel, is to talk about Arsenal, but also other clubs. Now, in all honesty, I don't watch a lot of the other clubs play. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But when I talk about them, it'll be from that lens, just unbiased and honest about how much I really do watch them as well. And we'll see what this channel turns into. Maybe nothing, maybe something. I just know right now it's my highest excitement. It has been for like a week. You know, I was meditating the other day and it came to me. You know, I've always wanted to do this ever since I was a kid. And, you know, I've kind of had these excuses. Well, you know, I don't have that equipment. I don't have this. I don't have that, etc. I don't have the background. I don't have the Arsenal jersey and all that stuff. Well, I've got a phone. I've got a beautiful blue sky here. I've got a place to sit down and talk. And that's all I need. I've got myself. And who knows what this may turn into. So that's a little bit about me. I love Arsenal, you know, and I guess what you can expect from this channel is I always have a positive outlook on things. Even when things don't go the way that I prefer them to, I look to find the positives. And the last 2 years, I've been able to find really nothing but positives. I know there's a lot of negative, you know, the people out there who talk about Arsenal bottling the season, the title last year and things like that. And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I just saw an incredible young team with incredible young talent take maybe the best team of all time, one of the best club teams of all time, to the brink. In the last few games, you know, it's a completely new scenario for them. None of those guys have been in a title race like that before. Injuries just got them in the end. But at the end of the day, there's so much positive to take out of that. What's the average age of the squad is like 24, 25 years old. Incredible players, and got a lot of years ahead of us. And it reminds me of those like 07, 08, 08, 09 teams. But the difference is this time we're re-signing our top players to contracts instead of losing them. Because those teams, we didn't get to see that team at its peak. Those guys left. Fabregas left at 24. I think Nasri left at 24. Sagna left. Adebayor left young. You know, these guys left really young. They didn't reach their peak, and they were growing together, and it was exciting. But because we couldn't afford to re-sign them, we never saw them at their peak because of the stadium and all that stuff. And it's incredible. So grateful that Wenger, you know, went through those years for us, because I do believe that those years have created what we're experiencing now, or we're about to experience moving forward. So I'm excited, man. Like whatever happens this year, whether we win the title or not, whether we win the Champions League or not, it's been another amazing season. We're competing with the best teams in the world. Got teams with players that have been there, done that, managers who have been there, done that, and we're doing it for the first time, second time in terms of the title race, with young players and young manager, and we're only getting better all the time. So yeah, that's what you can expect from me. Is I'll find the positives, you know. Doesn't mean I don't get into it. When I watch a game, I feel all the emotions. I feel joy, I feel bliss, I feel stressed, I feel anxious, I feel angry at times, I feel annoyed. But at the end of the day, I'm always positive. I always look for the positive. That's just the way that I live life now. I used to be more of a negative person, which meant I was more of a negative fan as well. I was scared as well. Just always felt like it was inevitable that Arsenal were going to blow it at some point. I don't feel that way anymore. In fact, this can kind of transition into the game this weekend and the title run here, the run-in, and the Champions League. I have a feeling about this team. I have a real feeling about this team. This team, the word that comes to me is they have guts. They have an incredible amount of talent. They have an incredible amount of skill. They work incredibly hard. They're incredibly athletic. It's the most athletic Arsenal team I've ever watched. I didn't really watch the Invincibles much, so I don't really consider myself like. I really started watching like 07, 08 maybe, like consistently, maybe 06, 07. You know, those teams were good, but smaller, slower, maybe quick, but more technical players. But we didn't have players like Declan Rice and William Saliba and Gabriel and Kivior and Tomiyasu and Ben White and Kai Havertz and even the smaller guys like Saka, Martinelli and Jesus. Those guys are strong and they're quick and they're fast and they're powerful and they're athletic. Even Odegaard has an incredible engine, right? He can run all day, every day. He's like a spaceship, that guy. Infinite energy. And so, yeah, and then on top of that, Arteta as well. I think Arteta does an amazing job of getting the best out of this group. I really truly believe that. Like, look at what he's had to work with this year. There's been a lot of injuries. The starting plan this year. What was the first game against City in the Community Shield? The first kind of big game and the first big match of the year. Party was there. Timber was there playing. Tomiyasu might have been playing. It might have been Zinchenko. Jesus. Vieira was available. I know he doesn't start, and he wouldn't when everyone's fit. But he looked like he was starting to come around at the beginning of the season, and even the one or two cameos he's had recently has looked pretty bright. And so he hasn't had those players for most of the season. He's had to work around that, and he has a way of getting these players in this team. I feel he, on a more esoteric level, he understands energy. Like, he understands the energy of the universe, and he's able to transmit that into the players and into the crowd. Look at what he's helped turn the Emirates into. Look at that. He's been working on that for 2 years, talking about becoming, a fortress, and transmitting energy to the players. That's a real thing. Everything is energy. Everything here is energy in this universe. And if you don't think that fans transmit energy to players and atmosphere doesn't transmit energy to players, then you're wrong. Simple as that. And so I feel this team has that. They have this X factor. They have the heart. I don't know whether or not that means they're going to win anything this year, but this team's going to do something special, whether it's this year, next year, the year after, whether it's a league title, multiple league titles, a Champions League title, multiple Champions League titles, doubles, trebles. I don't know. I can't predict that. I'm not going to predict that, but I know something special is going to happen with this group and this manager. In the somewhat near future. If it's not this season, maybe the next couple seasons. Coming back to this game this weekend, I just heard, I believe it was Diluted Gooner talking about Tom Canton and Charles Watts might have mentioned something about Saka, Martinelli, and Gabriel being iffy for the weekend, which isn't ideal, obviously. Preferably we have them all available. So my feeling has been, if those three are available, even if just Saka and Gabriel are available, Martinelli, I've kind of had a feeling won't be available for a little while. But if those three are available, I think we win. I feel we win. I really feel confident about that. And not just because we are an incredible team with incredible heart and we just have something about us right now. Also because I've watched City. City got dominated by Liverpool in that second half of that game the other day. In fact, a couple weeks ago when they played. In fact, after the first 15 minutes where I thought, whoa, City looks really good. Really good. I think Liverpool was by far the best team the rest of that game. And they had chances. And by all accounts, I didn't watch the game against Man U. Yes, I did a little bit, actually. I did a little bit. Sorry, that's not true. I watched about the first half. Man U could have been up 2-3-0 in the first 30 minutes. City team looks a little slower. They certainly don't look as strong at the back. They look vulnerable to counters and, quick counters. They don't look like the team from last season or seasons past. They really don't. Now, they're still an incredible team, and until someone knocks them off their perch, they're the best team. They are. I believe that. In the world. Although I think Real Madrid will really give them a run for their money as well, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Madrid wins that tie. Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, Bellingham, against a City backline that has been suspect. They really have been. And so I think we can get at them, especially if Martinelli, Saka play. I don't know if Martinelli would be maybe more important in this game than Saka because of his pace, because of his speed, his quickness. So if they're available, I think we win. I genuinely think we win. I feel we win. I really do. And if not, it's okay too. It's just a prediction. It's just a feeling. And if those guys aren't available, then I feel we tie. I still feel there's magic in this team. And if Saka, Gabriel, and Martinelli are out, I would like to see Trossard on the left, Havertz up top, Gabriel Jesus on the right, and At the back, it'd be a little more difficult, depending on fitness, right? Because if Tomiyasu was fully fit, I'd say Kivior center back, Tomiyasu left back, or you could flip those two. I don't know if Tomiyasu's ready. I don't know. Maybe he is. Last year he came back against City, right? And had that bad giveaway for that first goal for De Bruyne in the home leg, the first game, the first match, the home match. Yeah, I say game stuff. Like, I am Canadian and North American, so North American sports. I prefer to call it football. I do call it soccer sometimes because I grew up calling it soccer, but I think football makes a lot more sense, and also that's kind of the origins of the game. It's called football. It's called football in South America. Here I am currently in Argentina. It's called football. In England, you play with your feet. American football, you only really take two actions with your feet: field goals and punts. So I don't know why that's called football. It should be called throw ball, if anything. Anyway, so yeah, this weekend, if those guys are injured, Trossard on the left, Havertz up top, Gabriel Jesus on the right. I'm going to say, because I don't think I don't know. It's so difficult. Who does City have on the right? Silva, maybe. Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. Because I'm thinking Zinchenko. But at least it's not, Riyad Mahrez or Salah, or I'm more comfortable with the Zinchenko against Foden, even though Foden's an incredible player, or Bernardo Silva, who's also an incredible player, just because of there's not quite as fast, powerful as Mo Salah. If Tomiyasu is fit, I say Tomiyasu. If he's ready to play 60 minutes, Tomiyasu. 70 minutes, 75. I think he played 60 or so, maybe 70, 75 on a inter squad, on like a little friendly that the team played last week. So if he's fit, Tomiyasu, Kivior left center back, Saliba, White. If Tomiyasu isn't fit, then it'll have to be Zinchenko on the left, Kivior, Saliba, etc. Now, so Braya at the back, Declan Rice in midfield alongside Jorginho. I don't think Partey's ready yet, and I don't think he hasn't looked like he looks very rusty. And he does when he's been injured for 5-6 months, 4 months or whatever it is in the past. When he's come back from injuries, at times he's not been good. It takes him a while to ramp back up, rounded to form and a game fitness, etc. So Jorginho, but I like to see them more playing as a double pivot. I certainly would not like to see Rice ahead of Jorginho and Jorginho playing the lone 6. I don't think Arteta will do that. Maybe you see Rice as the 6 and Jorginho as the 8, like in the Liverpool game. That seemed to work pretty well in that match. But I think a double pivot, just a little bit of extra cover. They can kind of communicate, take turns going forward. But I think with giving Jorginho still more license to go forward and asking Rice to sit back, just to be aware of those counters, like Kevin De Bruyne running through the middle of the pitch with that powerful long stride of his. I think Rice will is just a much better option in terms of what's the word I'm thinking of? Denying that. As much as you can anyway with De Bruyne. And then obviously Odegaard. And then on the right, if Saka's not fit, like I said, Gabriel Jesus. But if Saka's fit, Saka. I think up top, regardless, I want to see Kai Havertz. I think he's been tremendous. He's an outstanding player. I really think he's an outstanding player. And a lot of talk about him, a lot of kind of back and forth and disagreement. I think he's a fantastic player. I also think that when he hits full form and full confidence, I was watching some of his Bayer Leverkusen highlights recently. He was phenomenal. Incredible. The goals he was scoring were incredible. That guy can finish. There is a finisher in there, an extraordinary finisher. I think it's a confidence thing with him. And Chelsea zapped a lot of that confidence from him. And he's getting it back now. He's not fully there. But I think once that everything fully clicks for him, I think he has the potential to be world class. I really, really do. I'm not saying he's going to be, but he has the potential to be. But even without the goals, even without the finishing being top notch. He's still scoring goals, he's getting assists, but he just creates problems. That guy is a tall, strong, fast player. He's very, very fast, very strong. He doesn't look it because he's skinny, and he doesn't look fast because, well, I think he looks faster now than he did at the beginning of the season. I think at the beginning of the season he looked slower. I think now he looks even faster because his mind's faster. He's quicker. He's sharper of mind, which means he's sharper of feet. He's getting onto things quicker. He's jumping quicker. He's going quicker. He's making the runs faster. He's thinking more on his feet. And it's really shown, and it's been paying off lately. I've been seeing it for a little while. In the air, he's incredibly difficult to deal with. I remember playing when I was younger, those tall guys, those skinny tall guys, and even he's skinny, but he's not that skinny. But those skinny tall guys, they're always stronger than you think. Always, always, always. They get their elbows up and their knees. They're all knees and elbows, and they're getting into you, and they're frustrating to play against. They are frustrating. So add speed to that factor. That is a difficult player to contain, and he can cause havoc, and he does. And on the left, if it's no Martinelli, it's Trossard. I wish we had more speed. I wish we had a speedier option. We have Nelson, but I can't go there. I don't see Nelson. It's just not good enough. Yeah, if Trossard's or if Martinelli's available, 100% Martinelli, and I think he's the X factor. I think if he's fit, he's the reason we win this game. If not, I think, like I said, we still tie. All right, I'm going to cut it here, and we'll see where we go moving forward with this channel, whether it's more of a game preview, game review. I'm really into the transfers. I know we need a striker. I like the looks of Gyökeres. I like the idea of Isak if he could stay fit. I like to look at that Sesko as well. He looks like he's got a lot of ingredients, and I think it's time for Eddie to go. It's time for Nelson to go. They're just not up to the standard. I love them, but they're not up to the standard. And this team is going to the top, and like I said, this team, special things are going to happen with this team, and I truly, truly believe that. Yeah, we'll see. I think we'll certainly talk about some transfers, and maybe we'll have some guests on at some point. Maybe we'll jump on to other shows as a guest. I don't know. Maybe this will be the last video I ever make. Who knows? I just follow my highest excitement in life. That's what I do. I do the things that I want to do. And I know that my reality is supported through that. I always I always receive wonderful compensation whenever I'm following my highest excitement. I'm comfortable in front of the camera. I've been doing this, not Arsenal talk, but being in front of a camera on social media for a couple of years now. So, yeah, I love Arsenal. I really, really do. I'm really passionate about them. I listen, I watch for fun, I really do. It's because it's what I love to do. And I see things as well. So if you tuned in here, like and subscribe. I got to get used to saying that. All the guys, I know you're supposed to say that at the beginning of the video. Like and subscribe if you like this. Look out for new content. Love you guys.